My name's Charlie Huntingford. I'm 13 and I'm racing in the Honda British Talent Cup this year.
Well, I'm Simon Huntingford, father to Charlie Huntingford, BTC rider, British Talent Cup rider.
My racing career started when I was 8 years old at Fab Racing. Before that I did motocross, and after that I went from trials bikes to racing. My season's going really well this year racing in the Honda British Talent Cup, and look forward to the future.
Since he was born, literally we've introduced him to bikes. When he was 1 year old, before he could walk, I used to get him on a little balance bike. I used to push him across the kitchen floor, catch him at the other end so he could learn to control the bike.
My dad owns a bike shop in Suffolk, which is the Yamaha franchise. I just came and fell in love with the sport really. My dad got me an Ossett when I was actually a lot younger, and I don't really know what happened, and it just clicked. The buzz just made me just fall in love with everything about motorbikes and just anything that talks two wheels really.
He had electric bikes at 3-4 years old. At 4 years old he rode a petrol motocross bike around a proper motocross track without any assistance.
Around the age of 4, my dad got me a Suzuki ZR50, which I began riding around a field with one of my dad's mates, with him running behind me, which was definitely memories. And I've pretty much grown from there. I got a KTM 50 at the age of, I think it was roughly 5 or 6. And then we stopped from there because we had a few injuries, and then it just got a bit dangerous. And my dad knew a few people that were in the sport. We went there to watch one day, and I was just telling my dad, look, we need to do this. And it's just gone up from there.
Riders ready for a start. Here we go then, release.
I know that I could get injured, but I don't think about that because that could restrain my riding. So if I think about it more, there's actually a higher chance that I will crash. There's more chance that you could get run over maybe walking to school than getting hurt in a motorbike. So that's the way I see it, and it just never really stopped me or made me think about my decision twice. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and just see how it goes. I think the hardest bit for a race for me would be when I make a mistake and I have to try and regroup and get myself in the right headspace to make up for the mistake I've already made. At Knock Hill I had a large crash which I tore all the ligaments in my shoulder, and as a consequence that led to me being out for a few rounds, and it really made me doubt myself. But now I've learnt from that and I know how to get myself out of that headspace and right, so I can just keep on pushing and get to the limit again.
I have to put my own personal feelings aside. I do get scared. You can't stop your kids doing what you want to do. You know, they are their own people. We're just here to guide them through life into what they want to do.
Before the race, I get myself in a good headspace, staying away from people, going through the same routine, getting warmed up, then getting in my levers. And when I arrive on the grid, we just do the same routine every time, so nothing ever changes. And when I'm sat on the grid, I focus on whoever's ahead of me and that only. That's my goal, to beat the person ahead of me and just beat my expectations and just try and push myself every time I go out. This is my Metrokit 70 bike. I have the lap record at Lydden Hill. I got ran off the track by another rider and I was probably at least 10 seconds behind them. I pushed really hard because I was a bit frustrated and a bit angry, and I caught up and I managed to actually get the lap record. Sometimes I overthink a few things, so it makes me slower as a rider, but when I almost kind of take my brain out, as another phrase, I just don't think about anything and just ride it like I know how I should. So it just pretty much goes, instead of my skills I already have, just what I already know, and it just rides off my bare instincts really. My dad he's been a mechanic for 27 years in the workshop, so he's got a lot more knowledge than most dads on the grid, so that's why we ran the team ourselves. We had a few offers from other teams, which led to just a few more offers so we could just get a bit of confidence. But we decided to do it ourselves because of his mechanical knowledge.
My dad had old British bikes, so when I was a child he used to restore these bikes. BSA Rocket Gold Stars was his favourite bike. I used to sit on the back of the bike and go around the village greens with him. After that I had field bikes. I wanted to do motocross. Parents weren't in a position to support me on that, so I couldn't do that. At the age of 16 I stayed on and done A-levels at school. I got a job in the local bike shop. I already knew how to build engines, so I was probably their ideal Saturday boy, and it grew from there. In our first year at BTC we have probably put a cat amongst the pigeons, in the sense that as a rookie team, we're already beating established riders from established teams. So, you know, I do everything. I do all the preparation, I do all the organisation, all the deals, all the rebuilds, all the suspension setup, all the diagnostic, preparing the food, washing all the clothing, getting the van ready. I do absolutely everything. So it is a full-time job for me. As soon as we finish the weekend, at home, the week after, in the shed every night, just getting prepared for the next round. Ideally, you'd have 3-4 team members. Hopefully that'll be like that. But right now, it's pretty much myself, Charlie. I have a good friend, Andrew, who comes with us. He helps. And then Rob, who does the data. Yeah. Andrew helps do the tyres. We get the tyre warmers on. And, you know, if there's any accidents, crash damage, we get that done.
Yeah. So my whole approach to racing is basically give it everything and see where that gets me, really. It seems a bit of a one closed mindset, but that's all I've wanted to do, and that's all I'm going to put all my effort into. I would say around 40% of it has come around from me. However, my dad has trained me from a young age, just trying to get me as the goal. It's like we're talking on the way here. Everything he does is for a reason, to try and improve my riding. Such as we've got the Metro kit here, and we've kept that, whereas other people use a Supermoto style bike to practice on, but it doesn't really seem to be the right idea when we're racing a Grand Prix style bike like this.
I truly believe Charlie is a talented rider. From a very early age, as we mentioned earlier, he has shown massive potential.
If you've got that natural ability, no one can take that away from you, and you just build from that, really. Like some people say, you can always make a fast rider slower, but you can never make a slow rider fast. So.
When I saw him ride the second race at Fab, I just thought, that boy's got something. I always saw it. He just picked up the balance, the control of a bike so easily from such a young age. He was never frightened of anything. He just seemed very natural. I've seen a lot of children ride bikes. It was just something that stood out from him.
My natural ability has probably come from when I was a younger rider, riding like an electric osset around my garden, which gave me that sense of feel where the bike's sliding around indefinitely.
One thing that I personally look for in a rider is to be happy and enjoy what they do and make that seem an enjoyable sport, so it encourages more people. All of the riders that Charlie races against are talented. A few will stand out, as I think Charlie does. Now, the reason they stand out is just their racecraft. You can see how they position themselves on the track, how they think about the racing. They line up the overtakes. They're not just doing crazy overtakes. They process the race. They think about things. I've always said to Charlie, 80% of winning a race is in your head. You've got to have a talent, but you must have your mental approach correct. And I think that is what makes a true champion. Well, as a father, at the end of the day, if he does well, the emotions on that you can't pay for. I've almost been brought to tears when I see him. Lap times come quicker and quicker and quicker. When he dominated the championship on the Mini Motor Elites, it was every round. Sometimes he won the race by 30 seconds. So he was very, capable. And as I said, the pride of that is unreal.
So I feel the buzz. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's a buzz that I can't get on any other vehicle on two wheels. It just makes me want to just push as hard as I can, and the feel for speed is just ridiculous. It's crazy. Nothing else competes with it. The season started in April, really, but before that we went to Spain, and then we had a Snetterton test prior to that, which was around March time, I believe. And then, it started in April.
April the 10th, wasn't it, I think, the first round? So that'll be again April-ish for the first round for the 2023 season.
Yeah, they tried to keep
We'll be doing some Spain testing, won't we?
Yeah,
so
we'll go
to
Spain a few times.
That'd be good.
So my aspirations for 2023 are just let's start where we left off, so top 10s and then just progress from there. So towards the end of the season, I roughly want to be around the top 5 to the podium. I'll be ecstatic if I get on the podium, but I'm not really expecting it from myself, but I know I can get on there. So basically just progress through the season and try and get on the podium towards the end of it.
Charlie had 2 strong 13ths out of 36 riders. 36 riders enter the championship 32 race for qualifying. So Charlie come 13th and only 7 seconds back from the first place position is by far his best result of the season. His lap times that he done on that event was the same as what the championship winner done at that round the year before. So if we can start the first round in a strong position like that, what I call in the points, so up to 15th. As a team, we've now got the base core settings of every track. We know the gearing, we know what's going on, we know the process of BSB. So our goal for next year is to many more top 10 finishes, try to get him on the podium and just try to get a little bit more publicity, a little bit more known of what Charlie does. Over the winter months, he's got a YZ85. We're going to be doing a lot of training on the motocross bike. We should have been going tomorrow, actually, isn't it?
Yeah,
we should have been doing some, but that's been cancelled. So we're going to be doing some of that. He's a lot of cycling. There's an 8-mile cycle route that he'll go and do himself. Skipping, going to Spain. I've even got a trials bike, the Gas 280 trials bike. It's all about trying to build his core strength up, trying to get a little bit of muscle behind him. He's 13, he's going to be 14 next year. His body's changing and we need to get a little bit more strength in him to make him ride a bike like this and be able to change direction as fast as what the more stronger experienced lads do, because this is a 10th of a second here, 100th of a second there, all add up to the end of it. And this is where he's losing out a bit compared to the fast boys. But, you know, you can't, that will come with age.
So I think I need to work on, definitely, like my dad said, my core strength, because the bigger lads that are 16, 17 are a lot stronger than me and can change direction a lot quicker. So me being my size, that adds to a disadvantage. However, down the straights it is an advantage. So if we can get a happy medium out of both of them, it'll be pretty much the best scenario for next season. All the other faster riders, they carry more entry speed into the corners, and as a consequence they get the better drive out the corners, which it's not really something I need to work on with my fitness, but something I need to work on going into next season and to prepare myself to be ready to do that. So I think that will be the main point where I need to make up the time compared to the faster people, which I learnt from this year.
If we don't have the sponsorship, we can't do it, basically. I mean, that is that important. So we must and need support to be able for Charlie to live his dream. What you can offer the sponsors is obviously promotion of the product. There's, I think, 4 million people view BSB. 400,000 people attend the championship throughout the season. So for a product that you're trying to promote, a business you're trying to promote, you're taking that product to the customer directly.
The main reason for us getting involved, I think, is A, yeah, the nice guys, but B, we need to see more youth coming into the industry. Now, whether that's from the point of view of working in a dealership, whether that's coming through from a technical point of view, from a sales point of view, just being involved in the industry that way, or whether it's riding or a route to motorsport. And I've got to say, I do see Charlie as an ambassador for the youth within this industry, and it's great to see his direction and his guidance. For me, having worked with a lot of people over the years in a different role, in a different capacity as a business coach, to actually see somebody of that age already have his life mapped out, he's got that plan, he knows where he's going, there is no plan B. For us, I think that's something that all of that younger generation need. You talk to a lot of people, including my own children, and even now they're not sure what they're going to do in life, they've got no direction, they've got no real goals, no vision. To have somebody like that who's got a set vision of where he's going to go and what he's going to do, I think it's great to have him work alongside us when we're trying to inspire so many of the youngsters to follow in his footsteps.